Okay, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Counties Connected. Today we're going to talk about utilising the jet sweep into your office as an office coordinator in a multiple office or in the office in general. I think this is a great little tool to add to any foil, any bow, just to give you something else to throw at people, and it's what I would describe as cheap, quick install. So if you're like a new up and coming LC or an LC looking to add something to his collection, then the jet sweep is always a nice, easy go-to, and what you can build off of it and the things you can do through it. So what we'll do, we'll just take a look at some stuff and a little bit of film, and then we'll talk about utilising the jet sweep in your offense. Let's just change the screen up. Uh, okay. Hopefully you should be able to see the huddle page. Obviously, everybody's different, and everybody do things different. But I'll start off in the way that I do it, and we'll talk about the versions too. But when we're in 2x2, and a lot of jet games start in 2x2, because it's just quick things to do that. For me, my own personal preference, we base this off X and Y being on the line. You could have X and Z on the line, and it would change which guys can jet. Obviously, if you're on the line of scrimmage, you can't come off the line of scrimmage because you need to have 7 guys on the line in the UK, and at both sides of the ball. So our X and our Y for me will always stay on. So in this case, our H and our Z will always be our jet guys. Okay. If you wanted to flip it around and if you wanted to have your X and your Z on the line, you can do that. It's no problem. And then you would just jet with the interior guys. It's no problem. And if you wanted to get more and more in depth as we have in the past, you can do both and have, you can have a signal or a word that's so that maybe your H will go on the line and your X will drop off, just so that you can rotate it through and do all four. There's no right or wrong in any of it, but it's whatever you choose to do it and whatever you want to do with your perceived athlete at that spot. Okay, so for right now, I'll go back to what we're doing, which is this 2x2, and I'll just show you some stuff on this, and mainly how we attack it. So for us, obviously, if you've seen any of my other videos, everything we do is as quick as possible and as cheaply simple as possible. So for us, this would be a one-word call. We would not have like words for each and every single aspect of it. We would just call this play something like, I mean, last year this play was called Twister for us, and that's basically what it would be. If we twist the left, twist the right. So if it was twist the left, obviously we're going this way. So it means our Z will be running the jet, and if it was twist the right, it means the H will be running the jet. It's just one of those things, and we do for different formations. But let's just say if we were running jet sweep right, what we would do normally, we would have our QB either hand motion or foot motion, whichever you decide to do. It's your personal preference. Motion the man to come across. Our aiming point has always been once he gets to this tackle, right here, like so, we want to stop the football. Okay, so by the time that our jet guy comes across, the ball snapped and there's a mesh point. So it basically hides where the ball is and where it is. Now, when you're running the jet, we would normally have our jet guy bow out or bevel out, so it's not really flat and he runs like towards the quarterback. So it helps disguise that snap and that handoff, so they don't quite know what's going on. Now, for us, in the pubs and it's both ways. I have handed the ball off. I have popped past it. There's no right or wrong. It's whatever your personal preference is. If you pop past it, it's free pass yardage. If you hand it off, it's rush yardage. The benefit of pop passing it is that if you do fumble it or you do drop it, as long as you tell the refs pre-game, 9 times out of 10 they'll pass that as an incomplete pass and you won't get called for fumble. If you're a handoff team and you do mess up that interchange, then you will get called for the fumble and you'll lose possession. But then that just comes down to the same as with the pop pass. It would just be basically repetition to get it right. So what we would do there, as I said, we'll signal the score in motion. You'll come across. You will snap the ball here. Snap the ball as he reaches the tackle. So basically, when he gets to the QB, the ball should be just there or thereabouts. No, the QB is going to give it to him. If we're starting off there, if we build stuff into it. But if we're starting off on day one of install for this, he would hand it off, and then we would ask our H to go block somebody. We'd ask our X to go block somebody. Sorry. And what we're trying to do with this is we're trying to steal the inside so that our guy's got somewhere to run. Oh my God. Like so. Okay. And somewhere to run, and then we would try and turn it around the outside if we could. You can't always. Sometimes that gap we try and get around here. Sometimes that gap might be here. Sometimes that gap might be here. Looking for that cutback line as we're running across the horizontally, and we want to turn it up as fast as we possibly can. We don't want to go side on the sideline. We want to be nice and quick and simple. For our skill set, guys. In terms of line play, we ask our line to, well, at the moment in time, we would ask our guys to just simply block outside zone. That's all we would ask them to block outside zone, and that would be it. We would usually block it away from the jet itself. So we would probably block outside zone right and running to the left. We wouldn't ask our running back to do anything at this point in this time. You know, you can ask him to go ahead and lead, but I don't do that when running 2x2. It's not something that I do, but I know teams that do it, but it's not something that I personally do. Okay. So we're now, that was basically just Z jet. But for me, it was just twist to the left. Twist to the right for me, or H jet. Same thing applies. We're using the two guys off the line of scrimmage right now. We're motioning him across. Remember, this is a shorter space, so he'll be snapping the ball a little bit quicker because he's got less of a space to run than the Z. Okay, so we need to turn that up, and this is what we do in practice. When we're running that install, is we practice that timing, and we found that the best timing is on the tackle. Is when we snap the football and usually it gets a nice, clean, smooth cross, so it's difficult to see. So we run across, we're taking the hand off, or we're passing, whichever one you choose to do. It's your total personal preference, and you could probably do two. The practice to see which one you guys prefer. Some QBs might want the yards. Some QBs might want to hand it off. The reason why we handed it off this last season at the Revolution was my QB was a convertible receiver. He was really, really fast. So we liked him to hand the ball off because if he saw that gap or he saw the ball pulling, he would keep the ball himself and option the way and go himself. So we added that aspect into it down the line. So we would prefer to have the handoff rather than the pop pass. Because if you pop pass it, then you can't keep the ball yourself. So we like that mesh and give or keep. And that was my personal preference. Again, when we're running, when we have the ball in our hands, we all like to bevel out a little bit, back out a little bit, to give ourselves some room to look for that cut-up line either side. Wow, there we go. depending on where they're going to go. Okay, real simple stuff. And as I've said in the past, this is cheap install because our line doesn't really get involved in the play. If we've got our fastest guys and our speedy guys running these jet sweeps, by the time the line gets involved, our skill set guys are already past the play. So all we're looking for is one little block from our Y or one little block from our Z. Spring them. You can get 5, 6, 7 yards. You can break one big. It depends on the situation. But we were still looking to aim 4 or 5 yards on this per pop. We're not looking to break it every time we run it. It's just something to give us positive yardage and move the chain and give us a manageable second or third down. That's the aim behind this. We're not looking to break it every time we run it. You get lucky sometimes when you do, but it doesn't always work. So that will be our 2x2 version. Again, if you want it to be different, or you do it a different way, there's no right or wrong. Not bad. And let's say your X and your Z are off. Okay, it would still be the same. We would have still called this twister, left and right. It would have been no different for us, but it would have just been our X and our Z running this. So again, he would motion down this like this, snap on the tackle, take the pass or take the hand off, level out, look for the way forward. Trying to get a key block from our guys on the outside, like so. Real simple install, real simple pinching plays. If you're a coordinator, especially UK level, UN level or lower level, and you're looking to just add stuff to your arsenal, you can't go wrong with jet sweep because it's so cheap and so easy to install off of it. Okay, and then when you get this first part of it down, you can complement it with other things. You can complement it with a backside slant. You can complement it with other runs. Okay, we'll talk about that real quick. So let's just say I'll take it back to where we were because it's easy to do on my own way of thinking. Okay, so we're back here now. 2 add-on complements to this play. If we're motioning the H, okay, like so. On the snap, we'll ask our QB to look. If this DB right here bites down and gives us that inside slant, we'll take the hand off, start slant. We have that built into it down the line. Not from the very first day, but once we get it built in, that will be a complement play. So that'll be one of our complement plays, and we might call that something. But if it was twisted, we might call it Arkansas or something like or whatever to do with twisters. A compliment from it, you know what I mean? So we would whatever the compliment would be to that name wise to do with twister, I would call it Arkansas. So if we shared it Arkansas, we would take the hand off and so the backside slam. That was one of our compliments. Another one of our compliments is that we build runs off of runs. So let's, for example, we would try and, as I said, we would always have our line running the opposite way of our jet. Hopefully, it doesn't always work that way, but we try and do that. So that's just if we're running our Z jet, okay, we're running our G jet. Now in the past, in other places, we had a whole series of this where we had a jet play, and we called it. Let's say we call one Superman, one Spider-Man, and then from that, or yeah, and then we build off of that. So that then we build off a play from it. So if we're faking this inside, we're doing this inside jet. We would fake the jet. We would fake the jet and run it inside zone off of it, and that would be Batman or something else. So we would like have superhero names, and just build up those superhero names. So we would start with Spider-Man, Superman, or something, whatever it was at the time, and then we build into it, and then we would have like Inside Zone would be Batman or whatever, and then the other way around would be if we ran the other way, it would be Joker. And stuff like that. Or we normally in the past, look, we had like if Batman was Z Jet, Joker would be the Inside Zone. So it's like the opposite of, just an enemy of, an opposite of. That's the way we work that one. And again, if you work it this way, we would move our back over here. We would jet this guy. Take a snap on the handoff to there. Moving around. We would run. Inside zone, dive, whatever power, whatever we decided to do, we could do that. You know, we would do all kinds of stuff. Whatever play you wanted attached to it, we were complemented by going the opposite way. So you're sending them widthwise one way, and you're attacking the opposite way with another play. And that's just so cheap install, because if you already have inside zone and you already have power or whatever or counter in your playbook, and that's one of your bread and butter plays, you just add into it by a bit more window dressing by throwing in a jet. And if you once you run that jet once, they have to honour that jet. So if you run that H jet one time, you'll find their guys will always go because they have to honour that jet. And if they don't honour that jet, you keep running the jet. You know, that's one of the things that is a coordinator is if they can't stop it or won't stop it, and you keep going. Don't leave something because you get clever. If it's working, stick with it. But you'll find that once you run this jet and make them honest, they will always flow to the jet, and that's when you exploit the backside or exploit the other areas. Just two options again. Whatever runs you actually have in your playbook, you attach it to that, and it's nice, cheap, and simple. Okay. Now, if we were in two back, if you're a two back team, as I said, we're a multiple offense. So if we were a two back team now, okay, the jet is a little bit different for this one because you wouldn't jet it from the left hand side. Now we're on it from the right. Okay. What we would do with this a little bit more is that if we were jetting from here, okay, we'll probably get to this. Okay, and then because we're in two back, we'd have our H go out and block. And take that edge. Okay. So that you've got to leave blocker still with that, and then we would probably have our R running the string the other way, or something just so it pulls both sides. That's basically what it comes down to. We would have something happening both sides that it keeps the both sides of the defense honest. But our H would go ahead and block. Our R would go that way, and we would still be running Z jet to the left as we were in 2x2. It's just window dressing. Nothing new to learn, nothing new to teach. Just where you're loading up. It's real simple, real easy. Let's say if you're a team that runs king or queen, okay. You're a two-back team like myself. You run a lot of two-back stuff. Okay. Again, the same thing will apply. You'd have this guy coming across here, snapping the ball on the snap. He would go ahead and block, fill the edge, or take somebody, whichever came first. Okay. He would then take the ball. Maybe not. He would then take the ball and go across, like so, and around and up, like so. And then if you want to build from that, because let's say that was our Batman play. I'm just saying that this is the. But if you build it in terms of verbiage to complement each other, let's say that was Batman in the past being Batman for me. you could call Joker off that, and it could still be. So you still have your H running that seal. He's now faking the jet to the left, and then you would just still run power or whatever you want to run. You'll still run power to the left. So you pack it to the right. You pack it to the left. All that's changed there is the window dressing, and you're running to the right. One of the things I did last year at the Revolution is that I just spoke about having more fast guys involved. So you really, when you're running the jet, you want your speedier guys involved in it. One of the things that I did at the Revolution last year was that we had a formation called Colt, which is basically 8 guys in the box. It's almost wing-like. Okay, and that we would run. I got some clips of this. We would run this. We would run our jet from this, but it would be from a standing start and not from a motion start. So basically, on the snap, we would have our. Let's say if we were running, let's not call it twister. If we were running twister right, you go out there and block. You go find somebody. We'd have our go out there and block. We got double bubble blocking. Okay, and then our hedge would take the ball and follow his blockers and turn it up. Okay, so that for us was another formation that I'd never tried before, but it was something I knew I'd tried. A little bit of success, a little bit of teething problems. It happens. And as I said before, if you got a nimble, agile quarterback, then if they bite down on this and they're all flashing and crashing across to the right, our quarterback would simply just kick the football and attack their side to the left. Real simple. Of course, from that we would obviously have things built in. So let's just, for example, say we would still call this, but instead of calling it twister, we would probably call it Arkansas or whatever our play was from that time. So we would still have this guy go ahead and block, the Z go ahead and block. He would run his motion, and then we always want to run the opposite side to the jet, so that you've got that conflicting defense. Okay, so then we would put them in this season. We just simply ran inside down to the left, Arkansas twister, whatever you want to call it. George is thinking, but you can see it where you're building from it, and making levels to it. Again, you can still attack the backside slant or backside fade, whatever you choose to do, by tagging that on or making it an add-on wrinkle, or just running it. He would run the post, the slant every time when you run this play. That's the default route, and that way you've got something built in, and it's fine. And then the nice, simple, cheap install is what we're all trying to do in the UK. We haven't got time to be spending hours and hours teaching stuff. We want it to be quick and effective, and know that it's going to work if we're going to run it. Okay. Let's share the screen again. We'll go to some film. Okay. This is going to be filmed from last season at Shropshire. I've got a few clips lined up of a couple of things. It's not really clear, but I'll play it up in a second. Okay, so we can see right now that we're in cold at X. At X, there, and our Z's on the line. Okay, with our Y and our H in the backfield there, and those are my two fastest skill guys that I have. at that time, and they were both veterans. So we went with our fastest skill set guys to make this work. We had our running back in the backfield. Okay, this is the very first play from this game. We'll watch it through. Can't remember if I run it. I think he's right. Okay, he's right. Take it back a touch. So on the snap, you can see that this guy's going to go ahead and get somebody. This guy's going to come out and get somebody. He should go ahead and get him. He gets involved. Our running back gets around that big guy. Doesn't get anybody. But we've got our small, fast guy now attacking the back to my move. We pick up 7 or 8 yards on the play. And we've got a back angle of this one, I think. Yep. As you can see, the way we line this up and the way that I line this up is that I wanted my H and my Y to be outside of the tackle. It just makes it easier to attack the edge. We wanted them close to the tackle so that when we ran the football, we weren't exposed internally by the guys blitzing from the edge. If we had the guys too far out, they could shoot inside the gap and really mess us up. So we ask our inside slots to be on the outside hip of the tackle on both sides so that we can keep it tight and also utilize it. You can see from this there's no motion at all in this version. Okay. So on the snap, he just goes across. QB doesn't move. He can take that one step. The QB's eyes should be on this side of the screen, which they are. He's staying his ground right there. So he's going to go ahead and take that big guy. Ideally, we'd like him to take this little guy, but I tackle double team for some reason there. So we got to get him. Our back gets the next guy. Well, it's actually the same guy because he's causing trouble. And you can see that it still gives us our fast guy the chance to get around the edge and pick up 6 or 7 yards on our first play of the game and make some yardage. Like so. This is only one example of how you can run. Yeah, there's lots of ways. This is our next play from scrimmage. You can see we've stayed in our tight formation, our condensed formation, and now we're just going to run inside zone off of it. Nothing fancy off of it, but we run it inside zone, pick up that first down, and reset our downs. You can see we don't ask our receivers to do anything on there apart from get that edge sealed, and we just take the ball inside the middle. Pick up the first down. We got Lyman looking for work. Not a great example of Lyman blocking, but it's okay. Watch him in the backside. You can see that the slots are here. It should be one step over, but it is what it is. We're just going to run inside zone to the right. Nice cut back line there. We pick up the first down. You can see from our 2 slots, they keep it symmetrical. We want to show them one thing. We want to show them jet from this. We want to show them jet later on, and we do show them jet later on. But we want to show them that we can run other things from this, so it keeps them honest. But they don't always expect the slots to run the football. So we keep it up. Get North, good North one there. Pick up the first down. Wonderful. Show you one of the clips. Okay, let's go to okay. I think this is the very first play. Number 11, apparently. So now we're in 2x2, and we're gonna run twister left. You can see our X and our Y on the line, our H and our 0 off. Okay. Again, from the first clip, we've still got our fast guys here. He's now off the line. He's going to run this play. So we get our speedy guys on the football, giving them cheap touches. You see there our motion from our quarterback. He chose to bring him across with his hand. I'll be happy with foot or whatever he chooses to do. To give him full autonomy. Hands it off. It's around the corner. Picks up first down and more. We'll run it back. You see on this one, we've asked our running back to get involved because we're now in game 4 or 5, and our running back wanted something to do on this play, so we let him go and lead if he so chooses to. Doesn't actually get anybody, but the intent is there. You can see that these guys aren't that fast. We've got a great block there from our receiver, which is sealing the edge. We've got a speed guy that can get to that edge, pick up double-digit carry on the first play of the game. And this is why we chose to hand off, is because I want that mesh in this instance. I wanted the mesh to happen so that our QB can read this guy here. If this guy crashes in, then we're going to keep that football. He's let to keep it and run away to the opposite side. We've got answers built in all the time. More quick drive. So this is our very first offensive drive of the game. We pick up double-digit yardage. And then we go back into our cold formation from this season. You can see our two slots inside the tackle box there, or on the edge of the tackle box, or 8 men in the box almost for us. And we've got our two outside guys on the line. So now we want our outside guys to go ahead and block somebody here. You want him to go ahead and block somebody here. As you can see, nice huge gain there. Back-to-back plays from our speed to be. As I said, if you get this into your offense, if you've got the right personnel running it, as in somebody quick and fast, then the offensive line really has no part to play in this play whatsoever. By the time the ball's got to the guy here, he should be in and around and past the outside of the O line before a second is gone. So all we're looking for is to utilise one block or two blocks from our skill set guys. We get cheap, easy yardage. If you're a younger LC or a new LC, uni level or associate level or Div 2 level, that's looking to have a cheap play because you're struggling online wise and struggling with this, and you can't get your playmakers the ball because you're struggling to throw the football. This is one easy way to get the guys the ball in their hands and let them make some plays. And that was the reason why we added it in this year, because we weren't sure about our own QB. We knew he could run. We knew he was fast. If you struggle to throw the football, we wanted to have an answer outside of throwing it. And as you can see, when you've got playmakers like so, it's quite easy to do so. Have one more look and then we'll move on. If you imagine that this receiver here. Oh, sorry, I want to do that. Forget that. Nice simple handoff. You can see it's not even blocked that amazingly well, but he's that quick that he can bevel past the onslaught of rushers. It's just too quick for him. There's that bevel out, and then once he gets past that first wave, he's then free to make his moves on the outside. Nice and simple. Ball in hands, making plays. Great job from our receiver. Okay, let's change up. I've got a couple more things. Let's go to our very first game of the season last year. We were talking. No, not that length. My bad. Hang on, bear with me. Okay. Okay, as you can see, it's actually labelled up on this line. It's actually marked up. Colt twist to right. So we know that we're in our Colt formation, which is our two slots to the inside, and we're going to jet to the right way. Okay. This way. Okay. But we've run this a couple of times now, and our QB sees that they're blitzing this. He just keeps the football himself, and this is what keeps them honest. We jet one way, and our QB keeps it the other way, and gives us a nice pick up. You can see they're all flowing because we've run it before. They're all flowing to the football. Our QB does real nice thing to do there. Keep the football. Makes a guy there miss number 3. His athleticism. So we've got answers built into it. Okay. And again, next play we're actually still in Colt, and we just run it. Duck was our inside zone from that season, as you saw in that other clip. We actually moved there, but we don't have the call for it. We get nothing from it. But it's just showing that we run other stuff from that formation, keep them honest, so that it can't key off that we only run our jet from 2x2 or from our tight formation. We give them different looks and different things to do. But they can't always tell. I think that might be in terms of our jet game from this. But as you can see, if you are a new and young up and coming coordinator, this is in Chester, I think. Double angle. I think there's one on this in this drive. I'm not sure. Yeah. No, it's not. Okay. I do have one, but I don't know where it is. Okay, this might be it. As you can see, we're in regular 2x2. We motion across our small, fast guy. So what we're doing here, we just want this guy to go ahead and lead and block. We get somebody. Running back to go ahead and lead and block. And get somebody. Again, we hand off so that if this guy does bite down after the first one, our QB can keep it and beat off of it. We bevel round the end zone. We actually get in, but they don't give it to us. We'll watch it again. So this would simply be for us done because we're in 2x2, so it would be done. We don't have to say which side it's going to go or which letter or number is going to get the ball. Because our X and our Y are on the line, if we said left or right, we would know which way it's going. So if it was going this way, technically it would be left. So this would be just twist to left. Hands it off. Good bit of blocking. Great bit of work from our running back to get down there and get a second level block. Good blocking from our rookie receivers. Just don't quite get in. I think we have a second angle on this. Yeah, we do. End zone angle. This is the first time we ran this in this game. We don't run a lot of it in the red zone. But you can see that once we do run it, everybody flows towards the football. And once you run that football once with your jet guys, the guys will always flow. If you watched my dissecting the drive 2 from a few weeks ago, from back in 2013, you'll see that we ran QB power off this quite a fair bit because they have to honour that jet. You see a great block there from our running back at second level, rookie. Great block there from our rookie receiver. You get to the outside. It's technically out. The ball's crossed the line, but they say out the one. I mean, we deal with it, and it is what it is. One. Okay, watch it back one more time. Again, a lot of our line was rookies in this season, and they were getting their feet wet. This is a great play where we basically eliminate that. If you see this fast enough, which our guy is, you get around the outside pretty quickly. Couple of key blocks from our skill set guys, and we've picked up 14, 15 yards there and got first and goal. Okay. So as you can see, guys, this is just a quick, simple video, just to highlight the fact that adding jet to your offense is a great way of getting cheap and instant results. You can adapt it to anything you run, whatever you run, and if you feel like it's going to work for you, then I highly recommend it. I think it's something that if you want to do it, you should, because the install aspect of it is quite cheap. You can do the handoff approach in indie stuff. I spend 10 minutes every practice just working on the handoff or the pop pass, whichever you choose to do. And then basically just running it with your offense and getting it clicking, and you'll find that it comes together quite quickly. So yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this and my version of running this. We'll speak to you all soon. Take care.